Hello, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think your camera's off.
Yes, there we go.
There you are. How are you doing?
I am okay given my situation.
Okay.
Yeah,
First of all, how do you pronounce your first name?
Shoma.
Shoma. Okay. Just like it spelled. Um, okay. Your particular situation. Can you help me with that?
Oh, 3 weeks ago, my house got burnt down. So now I'm in a rental. I'm coping. I'm like, right now, I can actually breathe about it. But oh my God, the last 3 weeks, it's been like an emotional roller coaster.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
And then
sorry to
dealing
hear that.
Yeah, me too, man. Everything I owned was literally in my purse because everything is gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't even imagine that. That's incredible ordeal. But everyone is safe, right?
Yeah, everyone is safe. Yesterday I was just trying to because where I'm renting, it's kind of difficult to have my dog with me. So I'm just trying to find him a foster home and
Oh,
but it's hard to find someone who wants to foster him. Most people just want to take him.
yeah.
They don't want to give him up. So
Yeah, because it's my sister does a lot of fostering. In fact, she just got a whole new litter of a mom and puppies from Mexico, and it's hard when she gives them up. Like she has
yeah.
to give up the puppies. So, but
Mhm.
she's done it so many times, I'm sure it's easier for her than the average person. Where do
Yeah.
you live? Sorry.
So my home is well was in Palgrave, which is Highway 50 in Gibson Lake. And now I'm in Bolton. I'm just at King and Queen kind of area, 50 and Queen's Gate.
Okay, well, my sister's in Mississauga. Maybe she can help you with your puppy.
Okay, I'm just in the because right now he's with my next door neighbor, and then
Okay.
there's another neighbor down the street. So I'm just in the works with her because I'm thinking if I keep him in the location that he's in, then when I move back, hopefully by next year sometime, he's still gonna have because I know he's gonna have that attachment issue and detachment issue. So
Mhm.
at least if he's in the area, he will always see these people that he's been with, right?
Right. Okay. Um, Even though she has a full house right now in terms of puppies,
Yes.
think of me as your last resort in case you need
Okay.
it. What kind of a dog is it?
Oh, he's a husky.
A husky. Okay.
Yeah, he
My
just
other
turned
sister had
7.
a husky, so
Oh yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, beautiful dogs. Different color of eyes or same
No, he's
same
got the
color.
same colors. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm just gonna put some water in my coffee.
Sure.
Yeah.
Um, and while you're doing that, what kind of business do you run again?
I have a project management company, so we do design and build.
Design and build. Okay.
Currently, I'm doing a lot of interior renovations, but nothing under the 250 mark.
Right. I remember seeing your pictures. You do some beautiful work.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just don't want to get into the bidding deal with the guys who are promising a full rental for 50,000. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it seems like where I am, a lot of the people are expecting to get a Porsche for like a Hyundai price.
Right. And that's going to happen. That's going to happen. It really depends on how your clients are finding you, whether it's referrals or you're doing marketing, because it's a skill to go after and market and build relationships with the clients who are going to pay you $500,000 or $1 million for a renovation project.
Right. Yeah.
That's a skill, but that's something I can help you with. Actually, that's something we specialize in.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I do have a business coach and he's awesome. And together we came up with a process that the client is involved in every step of the way. And they understand, like, from the beginning to the end, everything is transparent. The only thing that's not transparent is my estimates, because I know, like, Alair Homes, I used to work for them.
okay, I know them well.
So their process is a little bit different, which I don't, I find that it was really difficult because when you're dealing with Alair Homes clients, or when I was dealing with them, they saw the estimates, then Alair Homes would charge 20% on top of the estimate, and then they would charge another project management fee. But what happened with that, I think the downfall with that is that for the project managers, it was a little bit harder because when project management hours are up, you have to go back to the client and ask for more money.
Mhm.
And 99.9% of the time, they don't want to give you any more money. They're like, well, why do you need more money to manage this project? So what I wanted to do with my company is, I don't want them to see that part of it. As much I'll be as transparent as I can, but I just don't want them to I don't want my project managers to have to go back and ask for money. I want that money to be built in. So if it takes 10 hours or it takes 100 hours, it should already be accounted for.
Right. And you should know the industry well enough to estimate those numbers.
Correct.
And if you make a mistake, you shouldn't
That's how,
pass on the mistake to your client. So,
correct.
yeah.
Exactly.
So I agree with your philosophy, and it makes sense, right?
Mhm.
Of course you're going to make mistakes, but you got to eat those mistakes. You got to
That's
own those mistakes.
right.
So how long were you with Alair Homes, and what was your title there?
I was a construction project manager for them, and I stayed there for about a year. And
Okay.
I just
Which
didn't.
location? Sorry.
I was working for both Mississauga and Etobicoke.
Etobicoke. Okay.
Yes, I was managing for both of them.
Okay. So your salary was split between
Yes,
both of them? Okay,
yes.
that's interesting. Um, okay. And how long have you been on your own?
So I have had my own company for close to 8 years now. I
Okay.
started off in the flooring industry. And then as I was building my way up, it was, the clients are like, oh, you do floors. Well, do you know a kitchen guy? Do you know a tiling guy? Do you know a plumber? So then that's how I got into the industry full fledged. And then I thought that maybe, working for a company would be more beneficial for me versus doing sales, marketing, management, and everything on my own. And then it turned out, well, it wasn't. It was more of a limitation for me.
Mhm.
And then I decided so April is when I revamped my company, and I want to take it to the next level. So I do have
Okay.
a project going on right now, but my project, this one here is a referral.
Okay. And tell me about that project.
It's a $200,000 project. It's really 3 stories, but it's a full reno. It's a complete gut.
Okay.
Smaller home. It's a townhouse, but it's not big. 2 bathrooms, a kitchen, all flooring, staircases. I put in an HVAC system in there. There was no heating system, no central air, so that's part of that. And I upgraded all of the plumbing, all of the electrical. It was knob and tube. So
Oh.
now everything's, yeah, I know. That's the second or third I've seen since I've been in the industry.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. And you have a full roster of subcontractors? Do you have good people to support
Oh
you?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of those people I took to Alair Homes with me, and they still work there.
Okay. Are you managing to get them back, or?
I don't know. They're subs, right? So they're free to work wherever they want,
Mhm.
and then they just schedule me when they need me, or when I need them. Sorry.
But you do get priority, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what would you say is your biggest challenge right now? I mean, forget about your personal home, but business wise, what would you say is your biggest challenge?
Getting the leads. Because
Okay.
I was I had house, I'm paying $800 a month for house. And in 5 months, I got one lead. And that one lead, I don't know where it's going to go. But they were really happy. They enjoyed the process. I was really transparent with them. They loved it. So let's just see where that goes. But I mean, Then I was with Home Stars, and I feel like it's just you're in a competitive market there, because by the time I get to the client and I sit with the client and I offer them me and what I offer, they already had a contractor who came in and offered them like 50 grand less or 70 grand less. And, I know what that's going to lead to. That's going to lead to, I need more money in the end, or it's going to lead to no transparency, and the client's not going to have any control of their job.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't want to be in that market. I don't want to compete like that. I mean, there's guys out there that's doing basements for 40 grand.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember, maybe we should start with a little background, because when you say basements, we used to build tons of basements. I started my first construction business when I was 17 years old,
Mhm.
because I was doing a lot of research, and I had just bought a house. I started working when I was 12. Um, and my dad, you know, God love him, he was a hardworking man. He learned to sign his name, so he couldn't read or write. He learned to sign his name when he was 45 years old. So he had this mentality of Leo, work hard, nose to the grindstone, just work hard.
Mhm.
And when I was between 11 and 12, I kept hearing that from him, because we were separated for 5 years. So he took a lot of time to try and catch up on the 5 years he was apart from us, because he was in Canada building a lifestyle for a life for us, and he had bought a home and
Mhm.
so on. So he tried to make up for that. And he kept instilling, work hard. And education wasn't all that important to him, because he was not educated. So he believed the only thing he had was working hard ethic. But that didn't sit well with me. That didn't, there was something wrong. I couldn't put my finger on it. And I thought, there's got to be a difference between working hard and working smart. How
Right.
do how do you become a business owner if you're working hard, right? If you're working with your hands, how do you become a business owner? So I knew that I had to find mentors. And long story short, I went to work in a tailor shop, because I figured, successful men wear custom made suits, and I'm
Mhm.
going to meet them in a tailor shop. So I lied about my age, uh, this whole thing, and, eventually forced myself into a job, because I would go in and start vacuuming even though I didn't have a job. So eventually Peter saw something in me and offered me a job. Then quickly became the best salesperson, top salesperson. Even though I was working part-time, they were working full-time. I still beat them in sales, right?
Oh.
So I met a lot of people. Mr. Edwards, who was a retired businessman, and he owned a lot of businesses. I was, 13 years old at this point, offered to take him and his wife to lunch. These guys are millionaires, 60 years ago. And I offered to take them to lunch. Of course, they took me to lunch, they paid, but I just sucked their brains dry, right?
Mhm.
So and I started making some money, and was doing research. I knew I wanted to buy a house, because reading a lot, I saw that, with a mortgage, you would pay 3 or 4 times the value of the house if you carried the mortgage full term. That's ridiculous. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to buy a house, rent it out. When it's paid for, then I'll move in. And that's how the construction business started, because I was building a basement apartment, right?
Mhm.
To create the second income, to create the positive cash flow. Then Mr. Ferguson from across the street came over, and all the windows are blocked with newspaper, because it was illegal back then, right? These were single family homes, and you couldn't do that. And the city was actually coming after me to arrest me. Um, yeah. Then Miss, sorry,
What city was that?
Mississauga.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um, then Mr. Ferguson came over and said, you're acting very suspiciously. And he says, well, my dad trusts you. Come in, I'll show you what I'm doing. And by the way, this is my sales pitch. By the way, you can have a stranger pay 70% of your mortgage when your house is free and clear, kick him out, and I have a free and clear house. He loved the idea. He brought me my first 5 clients. right? Then I started thinking about, I need to diversify. We're doing kitchens in the basement. We wanted to start doing kitchens upstairs. And what do you know about kitchens? Well, didn't I just build you a beautiful kitchen in the basement, right? See, one thing that I skipped over is the fact that I sat down and I said, and looked in the mirror and I said, Leo, how dare you think you're going to take market share from companies that have been doing this for 20 years? And who the hell is going to hire a 17-year-old, right? So when I was designing, because when I was in high school, I knew I was going to be an architect, right? That was my goal in life. But then, the design phase was fun for me because I really enjoyed doing 10 different layouts and then choosing the best one. Demolition was fun. Then came time for framing.
Yeah.
The framing part, I lasted for 50 minutes, right? I threw the hammer down and I said, I hate this shit. I don't like working with my hands, right? I didn't have a solution, but by throwing down the hammer and forcing myself to find a solution is how really the business took off. And then I came up with the idea, well, my uncle is, a self-taught carpenter. He was on the job site next day and he was kind of the face of the company along with my dad, right? And that's how the construction business started. So, and I understand what you mean about, diversification, about leaving money on the table. I hated that. I hated the fact we would build, pretty expensive basements back then, $40,000 basements.
Was
And
different. That's probably 100,000 now.
well, we would go, and I remember doing a lot of work in Woodbridge. And I remember my competition quoting between 20 and 40,000, and we would quote 180,000, right? $180,000 basement back then, is like $1 million today, right? And we would get these jobs. So and then we got the reputation of doing nice basements, but then I got frustrated because now we're doing beautiful kitchens in the basement because most of these are rental apartments, income producing apartments. And we would, we would be sitting upstairs in the kitchen usually, and I would say, well, I would like to build you a kitchen up here. And the response, well, Leo, you guys are basement experts. What do you know about kitchens? And that's the frustration. But um going back to leads, because I know that's where you want to go. You're looking for clients, and you also mentioned you want to start building custom homes and so on. So how do you do that?
I
How
think
do
I'll
you
start with my custom home first.
Okay, you're building your own? I'm assuming you got good insurance coverage.
Yeah, I do have insurance. It's just that they take their pretty little time, right? And
Mhm.
but it is what it is. I'm just gonna let them do what they have to do because I also want to know what caused the fire. But I guess I'm my next biggest client.
Good, good. So what we're known for is designing a system to build trusted relationships with your future potential client. Okay, I'm going to go outside the industry right now to really emphasize that point because I want you to understand how we do that.
Okay.
I got a call one day or not a call. We were on LinkedIn and we get involved in conversations. And because my LinkedIn account has been deleted 8 times, we're duplicating that system on Facebook. And so one of my assistants through my profile was reading and commenting on the post. Then somehow we got into a conversation with a salt mine in Turkey.
Oh yeah.
And then the conversation was, well, do you export your salt to North America? Because we use a lot of road salt in North America. Then the conversation, well, then they said, no, we don't do that, but that's something we've been thinking about doing. So now we're having, a Zoom conversation. So now we're talking about how do we build relationships with people who can afford to do a $2 million deal because these shiploads are about $2 million. right?
Of course, yeah.
So now we have to find, people who use that type of salt in North America. And a lot of these people are the CEOs. We always like to go to the CEOs first. A lot of these people are not on social media. So
Mhm.
now we have to figure out who are the people around the CEO that would import or would likely want to create a separate business to
Mhm.
import salt from Turkey. Okay.
Mhm.
So, and that's the system to use, but it's basically the same thing you're trying to do, right? You want to
Right.
find out who's going to want to build a $5 or $20 million home in the next 2 to 4 years or 5 years. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's the same strategy that we use. We use stepping stone relationships because, these people, real estate agents, mortgage brokers, home inspectors, contractors, all know someone who is either renovating their home to sell because they want to build a custom home, they want to
Yeah.
downsize, they want to upgrade their quality in the home, they want to build a vacation home, whatever that is.
Mhm.
So there's at least 10 different income streams or introductions or stepping stone relationship streams that can build you those relationships with people that want to build a custom home.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
And these are introductions. These are not leads. These are introductions. Okay. These are third-party endorsements, right?
Okay.
Because if someone's going to build a $5 or $20 million home, they're not going to go to house and say, I want a custom home builder. I mean, they might,
Mhm.
but the chances of them trusting a $20 million project with someone they have no referrals or no references from
Right.
is going to be small. Okay.
Mhm.
But if you're introduced to those people as one of the best custom home builders in the Toronto area, and that has to be true,
Mhm.
right? So, and that's part of the Trust Foundation. We work on designing and building the Trust Foundation, and the Trust Foundation can't be just reviews. You have a
Right.
good start because you have some great projects, but these are projects here, you need projects here.
Right. So I'm hoping that my home that I will be building next year, that would, I guess that would be my first custom home. So it would be my showcase, my showpiece.
Yeah, but you also do additions, right?
We do
And
additions.
and the gutting of the house as
Yeah,
well. So
yeah.
that's pretty close. And generally those types of projects, when you put 10 of those projects together, then someone would say, yeah, I can trust you with a
Yeah.
custom home, right?
Mhm.
But there's got to be enough of them, and there's got to be enough reviews, and preferably not written reviews, preferably, falling on the sword video type reviews.
Yeah, I'm trying to, well, not trying. I will be having this client of mine do a video review with me. So that would be,
Okay.
yeah.
Whatever you do, don't be in the picture, don't ask them questions, don't do that type of review because
Exactly.
yeah, that's horrible.
Mhm.
Okay. Because that's what most companies do. And it looks like you bought the review. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
so don't do that. Um, so I guess my suggestion to you would be if you're going to, and if I was advising you, um, I would say, keep the renovations going because the
Right.
renovations are going to build and
Yeah.
get you to the custom homes.
So now I think I want to focus a little bit more on getting the reno leads as well.
Okay.
I think focusing on that because that's easier to obtain versus the custom build leads and then have it build up to that.
Yes, yes, I agree. But branding is crucial to that. What is
Yeah.
your company name?
Well, I revamped it. So it's called Les Elite. I went French. Don't ask why.
Okay. But my job is to ask why.
No, I had KS floors and contracting, and I find that with that company, how can I put it? It's like I get the wrong clients, and I wasn't putting me like my excellent self out there. I was just it was just like the wrong clients kept calling, like the clients who calls and say, well, oh, this guy over there is, doing it for 10,000 cheaper. Like,
Mhm.
and then I'm like, okay, well then go with that guy over there. And then I would just, walk away. But I was getting fed up. So I thought that maybe if I branded it something a little bit different, going towards a different language, something that sounds sexier, cleaner, more elite. Yeah. And hence that name. I was just driving home one day and I'm like, I like French.
Yeah. In the last 40 years, this is important. You need to hear this. In the last 40 years, we've been helping companies. We've taken over 1,000 companies like yours that were doing under $2 million in revenue. Today, they're doing more than $20 million in revenue. They were doing less than $2 million in revenue. Today, they're doing more than $20 million in revenue. So we've done that over 1,000 times. So
Excellent.
when I look at your business,
Mhm.
um, forgive me for saying, Shoma, but you're not using the best business tools.
Okay.
You're okay. You're doing it the hard way. You're
Yes,
not doing it the best way or the smart way or the
I
easy
agree.
way. Okay.
Yes.
Because when you make it easier for yourself, I mean, it's the difference between pushing a boulder uphill
Mhm.
or pushing a boulder downhill.
That's right.
That's the difference, okay? And why would anyone want to push a boulder uphill? Makes no sense to me. But I see a lot of businesses working hard
Yeah.
and they're not using the best business tool. And a statistic that I will use to emphasize this point, because I want to be very clear here.
Mhm.
In the painting industry, most companies in North America, and these are Google statistics, it can take anywhere from 5 to 40 years to get to $800,000. Okay. That is the glass ceiling for painting businesses. And
Wow.
90% of painting businesses are under the $800,000. And some actually even strive to get to $800,000. So
Mhm.
at 10% net profit, they're probably making, $80 to $100,000, probably 100 because they're doing cash jobs and you're trying to
Yeah.
hide, but that is such a sad statistic for me because if they only branded, if they only designed a business blueprint, only and they always say, Leo, I can't find quality people. Well, finding quality people is a byproduct of an efficient, aggressive marketing system, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have that, how can you have this,
I
right?
agree. Mhm.
So, but yet there's companies like Wow One Day Painting
Yeah.
that went way above and they do $100 million.
Mhm.
Okay.
They're not
Fair.
very good though, because I've used that company before. Not
Okay.
Wow. No, it's a one day
Sort of.
painting company. Can't remember what it's called, but the guy came in. They are so sloppy.
No.
And they sent in like maybe 10, 5 to 10 Indian students, like literally Indian kids.
Hmm.
And they come in, they slap paint on the wall. If there's a little scratch that you need to sand out, they don't sand it out. It's, yeah,
Yeah.
it's very sloppy. Like I would never use them again. So
Okay.
they're more of a one-time thing, basically.
Yeah. So they screwed the reputation with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but but that's the thing. But they're still doing if it was one day painting, they're still doing $100 million. And
Yeah.
yet CertaPro painting does $800 million.
Mhm.
Okay. And I've asked most people, what does CertaPro mean? I don't know. Could it mean certified professional? Oh, I never thought of that, right? So even though they're doing $800 million, they're not doing it the smart way because nobody knows what CertaPro is,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
the average consumer or your future potential clients need to understand, and you and I need to have a branding call because branding is crucial. I think branding is the difference between an $800,000 company and an $800 million company.
Mhm.
That's the difference. That gap is branding.
Mhm.
Okay. And the reason why, I don't know how much you made last year, but the reason why you're not deliriously happy today and don't have a ton of business, chances are is because you're not using the best of branding. So let me explain why branding is so important. I know you're much younger than I am, and you probably don't remember in the 80s, they used to do subliminal messaging. So in the theater, picture yourself in the theater, you're
Mhm.
about to watch a movie, and you're watching the previews, and all of a sudden, popcorn shows up on the screen, but you don't see it because it happens like 1 millionth of a second. Your conscious brain doesn't see it, your subconscious does see it. Popcorn sales went up by 30%. Just by popcorn on the screen, maybe they did it 4 or 5 times, but you never consciously saw it. And that's why it's illegal. Okay. That's why it's still illegal today, because it's an unfair business practice.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, very
But
much.
subliminal messaging in branding still happens today, and it's legal because we use other techniques to do that. So proper branding is a promise that you make to your future potential clients that you're going to do an awesome job, okay, before they meet you, okay? So in other
Mhm.
words, before you meet them to give them an estimate, to talk about their budget, to talk about anything, they already have this image that I want to do business with this company
There you go.
because of the branding. So it's an unfair advantage
Mhm.
over the companies that don't do it. Okay. I'm sure you've heard someone say, well, there's something right about that. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something right, or there's something wrong about that. I can't put my finger on it,
Mhm.
right? They
Mhm.
have this feeling, either
Mhm.
positively or negatively, and
That's right.
that's usually the result of great branding or lack thereof.
Mhm.
Okay. So these are some of the tools. And by the way, I'm recording this. You don't have to take notes. I will send
Okay,
you
perfect.
the recording.
Okay, thank
Um,
you.
try and stay with me because this is crucial stuff, because this will determine whether you and I do business together. I believe this will determine that whether you're going to be a $20 million company or you're going to be a $2 million company, or you're going to be a $200 million company that builds custom homes. Okay.
Mhm.
I truly believe that because I'm not a miracle worker. We just use proven business tools that happen to work. Okay.
Okay.
So my job, so you understand it, for the past 40 years was flying around all over North America, meeting people like you who want to grow their businesses. And we would sit down with you and spend 3 days in your business, and we would do a forensic analysis of your business to see what you're doing well and what you're doing that could be improved upon. Okay. And I used to average 5 flights a week, flying around all over North America, meeting business owners like you. Okay.
Mhm.
Some weeks I would do 11 flights, saving projects from going sideways and stuff like that. So I love
Nice.
my work. I've retired 4 times already. Um, I will do this until I'm 93 years old, because I love saving companies. I love helping companies, and I love seeing the results of the work, and when people are beaming. We had a Christmas party on Friday at the Keg and met all the employees of a company that was really struggling a year ago. Now the company is growing, and
Nice.
seeing these faces and to have new jobs. And the owner was, a little bit, but he was extremely happy with the fact that he had, a long table full of employees, and it took him 30 years to get there, and in 1 year he accomplished more than he did in 30 years.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so branding, I hope I'm emphasizing the point, and next conversation we have, I'm going to re-emphasize the point. You cannot be a $200 million company without tested branding.
Mhm.
Okay. So
Okay.
again, I'm not a miracle worker. I couldn't even help you. If you say, Leo, I don't need branding, I'm good there.
No, I need branding, and that's why I've been so afraid to put this company out there. And I'm just little by little trying to put it out there because I'm afraid of because the way that KS Floor was branded, it was branded differently. It was branded around, like it was in a competition with guys who were doing flooring for $1.25 a square feet. And now then there's guys who do it for $3 a square feet. So there was a big difference. So I don't want to go back there. And that's why I'm feeling like, I don't know, I feel like this is my baby, this is my new beginning, and I have a lot of fear in it.
Okay. Um, it's, I mean, I can give you examples. One of my clients, I'm going to give you three examples, three case studies, because I think this is important to you. Because we're talking about fear and we're talking about mindset and stuff. The first example I want to give you is, I consider him a good friend of mine. He's the most frustrating client that I've met in 40 years of business. He runs a 26-year-old roofing company.
Oh yeah.
I met him. I met him with the love of my life. He actually flew into to Toronto, and my girlfriend and I had lunch with him and his wife,
Mhm.
and we became good friends. Even though he frustrates the hell out of me, we became good friends because we like the same things. He likes to race cars and stuff like that, and he goes he takes his toys on the racetrack almost every weekend. So when we met for the first time at Snug Harbor in Port Credit, I'm sure you know it. Um, I could clearly see burnout in the way he spoke about his business. You can't do something after 24 years. We met a couple of years ago. You
Mhm.
can't do something for 24 years and not be burnt out, especially when you have to keep refinancing your house
Yeah.
to save your business. So I
Yeah.
could
I've done
clearly,
that. Yeah.
sorry,
I've done that a few times, so I understand that.
okay. So it's hard not to do that. And the reason why the wife is there is I wanted to hear from her how frustrating that is, refinancing the house and getting a loan because you got to survive the winter. And,
Yeah.
and I said, can we agree that the first thing we should do is bring the business from 2 million to, let's say, 2.5. Let's bring systems, software, strategies, and put everything in place, and we're going to sell this business because burnout, and the name didn't make any sense. It was misspelt. It was just atrocious in terms of branding. Okay. And his biggest complaint, and after 24 years in a semi-major city, a smaller city, um, he ran dry in terms of finding employees because everybody knew his reputation. He had a great reputation on the client side, but a horrible reputation on the employee side because he
Wow.
was, his employees see him as a tyrant. And that tyrant, and he just explained a couple of days ago that new people get on the roof and the older established crews don't have patience for the new people. It's, get the fuck out of my way. You're in my way again. Get out of my way, right?
Yep.
And
That
that's
happened.
the culture, right?
Yeah, it is.
And why would someone stick around if they're being abused like that, not only from management, but also from their, colleagues?
Mhm.
And in the construction industry, it's hard work. You should have your best friends at work, right? To
Mhm.
share
Correct.
that experience, right? And
Yeah.
that's company culture. So anyways, I saw that at lunch the first time, and I said, we got to dump this thing. You know, we're going to raise your revenue. We're going to dump it. We're going to create 5 or 6 different brands, properly branded companies.
Mhm.
We're going to sell your first one, between 1 million and 2 million. I know that's quite a range. First offer was 1.8. Then we started working on 5 other brands that are somewhat supporting the roofing, attic insulation, soffit, fascia, siding, and stuff like that. And design those, and after 3 years, sell those between $800,000 and $1 million. So when you look at all that, that's quite an income, and he loved the idea. So we start working. Um, we start working on software because he's top heavy. He has enough staff in the office to do double his sales. So he is top heavy. He is not systems oriented. He doesn't believe in software. He doesn't do any of that. So I said, we got to bring in software because, software between $89 and $350, we can replace 2 salaries in your office. 60,000 times 2, that's $120,000. We can do that. Yes, we're going to start tomorrow. 10 months later, after doing demos, and this is the frustrating part. And I keep telling him, every day we look at a demo, I don't care which one you choose. It has to be customized to your business anyway, so it doesn't matter. Choose the one for $89 a month US. Let's get this going. Let's start replacing some salaries. Let's start moving, right? 10 months later, he still hasn't. And I said, I'm done. I'm frustrated. I can't, I've got clients that need me. I can't keep investing my time with no return here. I don't care if you're paying me. There's no results. I'm out. Call me when you make a decision. And he doesn't call me. A year later, I call him and I say, what software did you go into? Oh, Leo, and this is over a video chat. We decided to build our own. You decided to build your own. And he goes, yeah, unfortunately, we're up to $100,000. And by the way, where did this money come from? Because I know I've looked at your bank balance. I've looked at your financials. Where did this money? Oh, our working capital. Okay.
No.
Yeah. And I had a conversation with him a couple of days ago. And he hired a new salesperson and so on. So, and I said, that was the dumbest bullshit move anyone has ever made, taking $100,000 of working capital to put into software. And when I looked at the demo of the software, it did 2/3 of what I wanted the software to do. It didn't even do the important part. Software is about a drip campaign, educating and building relationships with your future potential clients with video. That's what software is supposed to do, build trusted relationships on your behalf. It didn't even have that.
No.
Right? It didn't even have that. And I said, Pipedrive at $89 a month does that, right?
Yeah, I've looked into Pipedrive, yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure.
So to make a long story short, he's frustrating the hell out of me. Finally he agreed to pay me $100,000 to take his business from 2 million to 3 million. And that's what we're starting with. And we're still creating the other brands. We should have sold his original company a year ago. He ignored the first offer.
1.8 and he just
1.8 and he ignored it because he felt he could do more because he didn't at that point he didn't trust the other brands yet because Leo, if I sell my company, what am I going to do? Who cares? You've got $1.8 million. Who the fuck cares, right?
I agree.
So that's one example.
Per year.
So that's one example. Okay, the second example that I want to give you is again on LinkedIn, looking at posts, we saw someone who was a project manager commenting on something. It could have been about golf or anything. But then the question, my assistant through my profile asked the question, why are you a project manager? Why don't you own your own company? Oh, I don't have the money and so on. So that's how the conversation started. And once we got on a call, I said, what if we could design a business for you, hire people on your behalf from deposits in projects, and when you double your salary with your part-time business, you jump over, but only when your salary is doubled.
That's nice, yeah.
Right now, he's doing $27 million.
Holy cow. How long did that take you to accomplish?
4 years. The third example that I want to give you, and again, he's in the roofing. All three examples I'm going to give you are in roofing, asphalt shingle roofing. The
Yeah.
third one is a younger guy, younger of all three, and he does $65 million.
Mhm.
So we have one guy that hits a glass ceiling. He built this solid glass ceiling. He's gone, $2 million, keeps hitting, goes back to 1.6. One time he did 2.2, but most of the time is 1.8, 2 million, 1.6. He's going to
Mhm.
hit 1.6 this year because he has no working capital. Okay.
Mhm.
So he built a glass ceiling. The other glass ceiling is at 27 million. He keeps hitting that glass ceiling now. Okay. And the other one is at 65 million, right?
Mhm.
So what I'm trying to say is three different mindsets, three
Mhm.
different results.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, I'm coachable, so you're lucky.
Okay. You said that. You said that. I've said this many times. I'm an asshole. Okay. I've recorded this. I've said this. I'm an asshole. You smiled when I said it. The
Because
reason why,
you're reminding me of my partner. He says the same thing. He's like, I'm an asshole. And he is an asshole, but he's such an amazing carpenter and he's just amazing at what he does, but he's such an asshole and he's not coachable. And he hates working under me. So if I'm the one, so I have to make him feel like he's working above me or alongside me because he hates taking orders from me. But if
I
it's
love it.
anyone else, he'll take the order.
Right. Right. So the
Yeah.
reason why I say that is because I have a horrible reputation working with female business owners.
Why?
Because I'm an asshole, because I don't take excuses,
Yes,
because I work on results.
but that's great.
I've only had a couple of women.
Mhm.
One runs the largest cleaning company, post-construction cleaning company, and
Mhm.
she's been with me for 2 years. But
Mhm.
everyone else
Mhm.
um, don't last more than 3 months.
Oh,
So keep that in mind.
I
So
have a
if
tough skin because in this industry that I'm in,
every time a woman says, Leo, I have a tough skin, give it to me, I can take it, that's always bullshit. 90% of
no,
the time.
seriously,
Okay. All right. So
ask me.
having said that, I would
Yeah,
love to work with you.
yeah.
As I said, I wasn't bullshitting. You do some great projects. I think you have a solid foundation already.
Mhm.
You have a good start, but you don't have the business side of the business in place.
No, I don't. And that's, I
Okay?
think that comes a lot with the fear. I have a lot of fear in me right now. And I feel like, throughout my life, I've been working, resetting. And then I had a divorce 8 years ago. And my husband and I separated 8 years ago. And then it's been a battle with him and my children. So he looks at any way, like there's a lot of personal shit that just gets thrown into my business and no, that gets thrown at me, which affects my business.
Mm,
That's where I hate that because even though like the house going up on flames, he took that to take my 18-year-old now and tell her, listen, I'll take care of you. You're safer here. You're better off here. And of course, I go and I rent this house and thinking that it's going to be, we're going to live here. And then now she says to me, I'm moving in with that. So she left on Friday.
mm.
It
That's got
hurts
to be
me.
tough. Yeah.
It pains me because this is when I need you the most. Like I need, it was nice having her for the last 2 weeks because we laughed, we chat, we ate, we stayed at the hotel, we had fun, and it took my head away from what was happening at my home. So now I'm by myself and my baby's with my mom. I have a 2-year-old and she's with my mom, so I'm here trying to set everything up and I feel like shit because every single time something happens, I'm drifting back to my low points. And now this morning, so yesterday when you contacted me, I'm like, no, I got to get this going. I want to focus on my business. This negative energy, I want to turn it positive and put it into my business because this is where I want to be. I can't focus on my home. What's lost is lost. I'm not going to get it back. And it's material things that can be replaced.
Right.
So now it's just, I need to focus on my business. 2023 is coming, and I don't want to go back to, this has been a really rough year for me. I don't want to relive 2022 ever again. And it seems like everybody in my life, they wait until there's like a little gap and then they just pull me down. That goes for my three kids who are 18, 16, and 15. And now they're all with their father. He asked me to write a letter stating that he has custody of all three of them because he's on Ontario Works. You know what? I did. I'm like, you know what?
Wow.
Take it, take it. I'm okay. Like, I'm now at the point where I have no more, like, even though I've lost everything, I don't have that materialistic attachment. The only attachment I had was my relationship with my kids. And now I've just, honestly, I'm just gonna let it go. I'm just gonna let that go because they're older kids. They made their decision, and now I need to focus on myself, my business, and my baby.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at. So I do understand where you're coming from with the branding situation. And I'm just scared. That's the thing. I've always been fearful that I'm gonna screw this one up too. Like, I'm just gonna fuck it up. And I don't want to do
Okay.
that. I really don't.
All right. Let me help you with that, if I may. Can I give you a couple more case studies?
Yes. Please.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay. Um, I've had two failures in my life with clients.
Mhm.
Um, Actually, I was just telling you my frustration with the roofing company.
Yeah.
I had another very frustrating client, um, and he's been my biggest failure. I'm positive that I can make the roofing company a $3 million company, but I have to keep kicking him in the ass. I mean, literally kicking him in the ass.
Mhm.
Um, and he does shit that go against his best interest, right? And
Right.
it makes no sense. You laugh from outside looking in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But when he's in looking in, he can't see it.
No.
Okay, he can't see it. Okay,
Mhm.
same thing applies with this next company, and this next company, and by the way, I've had two failures in 40 years. So to me, that is a fantastic track record considering there's a 96% failure rate in
Mhm.
businesses. Restaurants, I believe, are 98%. Tech companies are 99%. Okay.
Mhm.
Which means 99% of companies who take their life savings say, I'm going to start this tech or start this app or start this, they lose their family fortunes.
Mhm.
Okay. And these
Mhm.
are people with business degrees in a lot of cases who
Mhm.
have advisors, who have, mentors and coaches and
Mhm.
other successful business people helping them, and they're going into the toilet. Okay.
Mhm.
So in my opinion, two failures is is pretty damn good.
Oh yeah.
And when you look at these failures, the first failure that really hit me hard was actually a company in Alberta, a contractor, and he managed to talk me out of getting into my normal procedure. My normal procedure is before you become a client, we do a forensic analysis of your business. I
Mhm.
look at financials, I talk to key people, I interview suppliers, I look at clients, I look at projects. I want to know because what the owner believes is reality. And when I look at the business, the two
Mhm.
realities are not the same. Okay.
Right.
And
Mhm.
each time that I ask a question before getting involved, and I'm about to ask you the same question, what do you think is the biggest problem in your business? You would say,
For me, it's my marketing skills and my branding. I can close a client. I don't have an issue closing the deal. It's getting the client.
getting the client. Okay.
Yeah.
So every time I ask that question, then we do the 3-day forensic analysis, then we show them the proof.
Yeah.
100% of the time, um, what they thought was the problem and what is the problem, they agree it was not the problem. What they
Oh, and
thought
I've
was the
worked in
problem.
financial management too, just to put that out there. You might
Okay.
find that out.
Okay. Um, So the first one, this company was in Alberta. He was a general contractor in Alberta, and he said, "Leo, I just need clients. Can you help me with clients?" And I said, "Yeah, we can help you with that, but generally we do a forensic analysis." "Leo, I don't need that. I just need clients. Can you help me with clients?" And I said,
No.
"Well, you sound pretty adamant. So yes, let's push the forensic analysis to a future date. Let's start working on getting you clients."
Mhm.
Okay. So this was this was a Sunday or a Saturday, and we started designing, systems to get him clients in Alberta. As we're working on that very Friday, so within 7 days, he
Mhm.
called me and said, "Leo, never mind. The bank is here changing my locks. I'm out of business."
Oh, wow.
Okay. So
Oh, yeah.
technically, he never became a client, never met him face to face.
Oh, no.
But the bank just took over everything. So that was my first failure. The second
Oh,
failure was was a gentleman that was very cagey, a young guy in his 30s. He
yeah.
had a young child, a
Yeah.
baby, and less than a year old, and
Mhm.
he was running an HVAC company. And he kept saying, "Leo, we are doing very well. What's your definition of very well?" "Oh, we do $5 million a year. Our company is less than 4 years old. We are doing very well. My salary is outrageous," and stuff like that. So he was saying all the right things, but there was something not right. That feeling. There's
Yeah.
something not right.
Yeah.
So if you're doing so well, then why is this our third or fourth Zoom conversation?
Why do you
Why
need me?
Yeah, why are you talking to me? Because everything you say points to the fact, and you keep trying to convince me that
Mhm.
everything's perfect. Then why are you talking to me? Because something's not right.
Mhm.
After the fourth conversation, I just I just got the attitude, either shit or get off the pot. And I said, there's something not right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an invoice for $2,500, which generally is a $5,000 invoice. I'm
Mhm.
going to fly there tomorrow, and we're going to have a meeting the next morning at 7 a.m. And he says, "Okay." And I said,
Mhm.
"Oh." And he actually paid the invoice. So I bought a ticket, flew out there, and now we're sitting in his office, and his office was in the back of this unit on the second floor. He built a mezzanine, and the front office, and he's way at the back. And I'm wondering, why are you back here when everybody else is up there? But anyway, so we're sitting in his office, and there's a boardroom table there, and I'm asking, there's something not right. There's something that I know is not right in this company. Even though you keep telling me everything's perfect, there's something not right. What is it? And each time that I said that, he would look at his top drawer. He would kind of glance at his top drawer. "Okay, what's in the drawer? Quit this games that you're playing with me. What's in the drawer?"
Yeah.
Right? So finally, he opens the drawer. He pulls out a stack of envelopes like this, and okay, what is that? And he throws it
CRA.
at me. He throws it at me, and I open one of them. "Oh, these are checks. They have your name on it. Oh, they're not cashed. There's no stamp on them." And I said, "What is this?" And he starts tearing. "Are these your paychecks?" He gets a little more emotional. And I said, "How many are here?" And now he's clearly sobbing. He says, 3.5 years worth. "Wait a minute, but you told me you're doing $5 million." He nods because he can't talk now, right? Okay, well, hold on. "But you also told me your first employee was a bookkeeper. Then you said the bookkeeper insisted on hiring an accountant because she couldn't do a lot of that stuff. Then you said your accountant forced you or recommended you hire a tax lawyer to prepare for tax strategies." And I thought, that's a great strategy. You're on
Mhm.
the ball. So how can you have three financial experts
Yeah.
and you can't cash your paycheck with $5 million coming in. And I said, I didn't wait for an answer. It's a rhetorical question. When are these people coming in? And he says, oh, they're here at 9 o'clock. And I said, no, they're not. They're here in half an hour. Get on the phone. I want these people here in 30 minutes. So here we are. Sure enough, they came in, half dressed, unshaven, unshowered, and they're sitting in his boardroom. And I said, and he did the quick introduction. And I said, stop that. All three of you are involved in a financial picture of this company.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what we do. And I looked at the bookkeeper and I said, did you get a paycheck last month? And she goes, yeah. Then the accountant, and they all said, yeah, of course, we work, of course we got a paycheck. Then I went back to the beginning. Did you cash your paycheck? Yeah, like they're dumbfounded now. Did you cash your paycheck? Did you cash your paycheck? And they're all saying, yeah, of course we did. We work hard. And I said, well, when was the last time the three of you made sure that the owner of the company not only cashed his check, and he's the one putting up all the risk? Yeah, but Leo, the tax lawyer, stands up and says, well, Leo, you got to understand we have a cash flow problem. There's never enough cash in the bank account. And I said, you have a cash flow problem. You are a tax strategy lawyer and you believe this company has a cash flow problem. And I said, you don't have a cash flow problem. You have $5 million coming in every year. How is that a cash flow problem? That's not a cash flow problem. That's a cash retention problem. That's a different problem, right?
Mhm.
And I said, well, regardless, when was the last time you tried to fix that? Well, Leo, there's never enough money in the bank account. I don't understand what you want us to do. And I said, okay, how long have you been trying to solve this problem? As he said, the owner said, more than 3 years. And I said, can we agree this is a problem we're going to solve today?
Mhm.
And they all kind of nodded and they had no idea what I was talking about and how we're going to do that. So I said, okay, the three of you, we're going to figure out what our overhead burden is. How are we doing these estimates? Oh, the owner does the estimates, so I don't know. Well, how can you not know? How is it you'd never asked a question how the estimates are done? You guys are
Mhm.
financial experts. You are paid to advise. How is it you're not advising? How is
Mhm.
it you've had salaries, you for 4 years? How is it you never ask questions? I don't understand this. So I really had let him have it. So within 3 hours, we
Mhm.
figured out the problem. 3 hours. And he showed me his estimate book. The books that the ring binders that the kids take to school.
Uh-huh.
That's what he used to estimate, right?
Yeah.
So and I asked for a breakdown, to show me how you budget these jobs. And what we find out in 3 hours was the fact that he when he was pricing jobs on and no one did an actual to budgeted. No one ever in 4 years ever did a comparison between budgeted and actual. And I said, why
Yeah.
the fuck do you guys have jobs? I don't understand, right?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
now I'm mad,
Mhm.
right? And so no one did a budget to actual. So I said, okay, the two of you are going to work on the budget to actual. Here's 10 jobs, give me budgeted to actual. So they start working on it. So we
Mhm.
quickly figured out on each of the jobs he was pricing, he was
Mhm.
losing $1,125 per job. He was losing. And I said, okay, we're going to stop production. We're going to write a check to all the 1,000 jobs we're going to do, and we don't need this warehouse. So we're just going to write checks to the builders or to the employees. And
Mhm.
why would we buy furnaces when we're losing jobs, $1,000 on each job, right? So when we found that out, then he says, well, I just need to increase my sales. And I said, no, you don't. You can't do that because
Properly estimate.
and sure enough, what is the first thing he does after I left for a week? He says, Leo, what the advice you gave me is bullshit. I've been pricing jobs all week. I didn't land even a single one of them. And I said, what did you do? Well, I increased my job substantially. But didn't I say not to do that? You got to do it gradually, or else you're going to lose all your builders, right? So that was the first. That's how I got his attention. Then it got to the point, just like the roofing company, where we were not making traction. We were not getting things done. So I told them one of the best projects that we do is what we call the best results from a project we do is what we call interim CEO, where we physically become the CEO of your company and we make daily decisions. Okay.
Mhm.
And I said, this is what we're going to do. You're going to write a letter to all the employees. I'm the interim CEO starting tomorrow morning. Again, he sent the email. I'm there first thing in the morning greeting all the employees. They're reading this. Is this true? Is this actually happening? And they were all excited. Productivity
Mhm.
and morale went up by at least 10 or 20%. So
Mhm.
now people who are just dragging their asses are actually doing work.
Of course.
Sales went
Yeah.
up and so on. Then then we're starting to get results, and I'm interim CEO. I'm only there a couple of times a week, and I fly back home because I've got other clients. Then I'm hearing rumors that from the employees, because the employees are loyal to me, because he is a tyrant again to his employees. He thinks this because he takes some paintballing, he buys pizza and he buys coffee every once in a
Yes.
while. The
Mhm.
employees love him. They hated him. They
Yep.
literally hated him. And
Mhm.
part of my investigative process was to follow him around for a day because I wanted to find out why the survey, because we always do a survey with employees, they would say one thing and he says another. How can there be this discrepancy? So I'm
Mhm.
following him around and we're having a chat in the car. We're going to different job sites
Mhm.
and and phone call after phone call and three phone calls. Um, he yells. He's freaking out. And he's using really foul language. And that kind of shocked me the first time. The second time it happened, and then the third time it happened, and the third time that he's yelling at his employees, I took the phone away from him and I hung up the phone. And he's, "What are you doing?" He goes, "How can you speak to your employees like that?"
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Leo, I've told this to this idiot, 20 times, he just doesn't get it, right? And I said, I don't care. You cannot talk to your employees like that, right?
Mhm.
And now I understand the discrepancy, right? And now you understand why your employees hate me. What do you mean they hate me? I buy them pizza, I take them paintballing, I take them golfing, they love me.
Mhm.
No, they pretend to love you because you're their boss, right?
Mhm.
So make a long story short, um, so I'm interim CEO. We're doing profitable projects now because we're lost. We had to get rid of a couple of builders because they were only on board because of the pricing.
Of course. Yeah.
But now we're doing profitable work. Morale, productivity is up. We're doing well. And we
Yeah.
even started a division to start producing ductwork because we were paying too much for ductwork. So we leased a company. We bought machinery at an auction. Now we have another company producing ductwork. And now we're producing ductwork not only for their consumption, but also for the competition. So we're
Mhm.
turning the competition into profit centers for us.
Mhm.
Then we find the building because now we need to consolidate the two companies into one. We found the building overlooking, fronting on the major highway. And we
Mhm.
were actually reducing rent from the two rents by $2,000 a month. And now we have frontage on the highway on the
Nice.
fairly new buildings. So things are really looking up. Morale, productivity. We started branding on the trucks, and everything is looking well. And we're
Mhm.
looking like we're producing a profit and we're increasing sales substantially. Then I'm hearing rumors because we have this lease, we have all these plans, a great new vision and direction for the company, and I'm hearing rumors. I'm hearing rumors that the owner of the company is sabotaging. And so I call him up and I say, I'm hearing rumors. What's going on? Oh, no, 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 everything's fine. Everything's fine. And I said, no, no, not everything's fine. This is not the first time you've lied to me. What is going on? Right.
Mhm.
So And I couldn't get an answer, so I flew in at a scheduled time and I said, no, you and I are spending the morning together. Cancel your morning. You and I are getting to the bottom of this. Why am I getting reports from employees that you're saying one thing but doing another?
Mhm.
Well, Leo, you got to understand, I talked to my pastor and my
Ah,
pastor said,
yeah.
that he said, you gave control of your company to a stranger. How can you do that? Why would you give control to a stranger? It's your company, it's your baby. How does that make sense? And then he starts sabotaging everything that I was doing, right? And I said, how long has this been going on? Well, Leo, he's always been my pastor. Now I'm starting to understand why we're not getting any traction, because we would
Oh,
have a conversation, he would agree to something, he would talk to his pastor, and his
yep.
pastor would say, well, that doesn't make sense. Then I asked him the question, how many businesses has your pastor designed and sold?
Yeah.
Well, none. He's a pastor. Then why the hell is he giving you business advice? And
Yep.
I looked him in the eye and I said, either your pastor goes as your business advisor or me. You
Yes.
cannot have conflicting advice like that. Well,
Agree.
Leo, I can't get rid of my pastor. I trust him.
Give me 1 second, Leo.
Sure.
Yes.
So there is an issue with your
Yes.
yeah, that's always around the red.
So,
So what you can do is you can either go back to your old
okay. Are you able to put the old ones back in?
one.
Okay. Well, the next guy should be here soon anyways. I think before 5 he should be here. So I'll just leave it.
Okay.
But the furnace is okay.
Yeah, furnace is over there.
Okay.
Just these things they require a lot of power.
Yeah.
So there's a voltage drop in the them.
Okay.
And for this unit, I'm not sure it needs two thermostats because it
Yeah.
doesn't have a zone control.
No, that's what I thought too, because I didn't. Okay, so that's fine. So when the next guy comes, we'll deal with it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Can I get you a smoothie or something?
Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye. Thank you. Sorry, I have no heat in here. It's so cold. So
I'm sorry to hear that. The universe is not being very kind to you today or the last while. So to
3 weeks.
make a long story short, I, he had to make a decision. Either it's, the pastor as your business. I'm not saying you can't have a pastor. I'm saying he cannot give you business advice, right? And I said, it's either him giving you business advice or it's me. And
Mhm.
he said, I was dumbfounded,
His
Leo, I can't,
pastor. Yep.
yeah. And he says, I can't get rid of my pastor. And I said, you understand, I'm talking about business advice. I'm not talking about your religion. I'm talking
Yes.
about, no, no, no. I have to share my business life with him. And I said, well,
Yeah.
you've made a decision. You are fired as a client and, I'm out. I can't keep working
Mhm.
hard and you sabotage your results. I just cannot do that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I've been through that. I've had one client who made decisions based on his pastor, and I had to walk away. And then the client I'm with right now, because I'm in the middle of the job, she makes decisions based on her psychic. So I know what you're going through. And when you're saying that, I started laughing because the pastor and the psychic comes first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So long story short, I asked him to send an email to the employees because I didn't want to let the employees down.
Mhm.
2 days later, half of his employees quit.
Yeah, I
About a
believe that.
month later, he's bankrupt.
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
Bankrupt. He just moved into this brand new office, brand new facilities, brand
Mhm.
new, and he had to give everything up.
Yeah, these pastors are crazy, man.
Yeah. But this really hurts me. This story really hurts me because I considered him a friend and we're still in touch today. We're
Mhm.
still he's working with his hands, installing furnaces in brand new homes with no heat. He's getting arthritis. He has
Mhm.
a second child, a
Mhm.
second baby,
Mhm.
and he's working with his hands and he feels he'll never start an HVAC company, but I'm trying to get him to start another company that's a little easier on his body.
Mhm.
but we stay in touch every couple of months. So these are really heart-wrenching stories when they happen to real people, and you know, and he saw the course, and I said, if when your employees find out that you no longer are going in a positive direction,
Yeah.
they're they're not going to be happy because they didn't like you, at the beginning, and they're going to see things reverting back to that. And sure enough, um, he's bankrupt less than a month later. So,
Well, the good thing is you get to start from scratch with me because I only have the one job and I just started this company in April. So it's not like we're gonna go way back. So
okay,
it's at the beginning stage, which is great.
okay.
Yeah.
Um,
And
again,
all of my suppliers are cash. I don't have any accounts anywhere, so I owe nothing. I've
okay,
never liked having accounts anywhere.
okay. So you're paying COD,
Yeah.
okay, but you're not getting volume pricing that way.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay. Um,
It's just COD accounts. I
okay,
mean, if I want credit, I can, but I choose not to because I'm afraid of stuff like that.
right.
Again, this is just me taking it like on the verge where there are certain things that I'm fearful of, which is credit and screwing up with suppliers, screwing up with trades. So I see everyone as they go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So do you see us working together?
I do. I do because the fact that you're an asshole, it's gonna work well with me.
Okay.
Because I need someone who's going to shoot straight and tell me as it is. I hate the sugar coats. Yeah.
Okay.
And like I
Um,
said, I mean, if I see something that's beneficial to my business, and I need as much experts as I can, because I really don't want to mess this one up. I
okay.
know I feel like a failure every time I do this.
Okay. By the way, as I mentioned before, I started my construction business at 17, made my first million before I was 25. There is
Okay.
a shit ton of money to be made in the construction industry,
There is.
right?
Yeah.
There is a shit ton of money to be made in the construction industry when you do it correctly. Okay.
Agreed.
There is a ton of money to be made in the construction industry. I want to make sure we end this meeting on a proper note
Mhm.
because you should be making a ton of money right now with the
Exactly.
right clients, with the
Mhm.
right strategies,
Mhm.
with the right results. If you
Correct.
promise you're going to do a kitchen in 2 weeks, you
Yes.
really have to do it under the 2 weeks.
That's
There,
right.
right?
Yes.
So you
Yeah.
got to under promise, over deliver,
That's
and
right.
getting the video testimonials. I don't believe in text testimonials because they're flat. I want to hear the emotion. I want to hear and see someone crying. I can't believe you did this for me,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And that testimonial will get you the next 5 jobs
Okay.
when marketed properly. Okay,
Perfect.
so um, I would like to work with you. We just need to figure out how we're going to do that.
Mhm.
Um, I also need to know how you arrive at decisions because the reason I never say this, but the inside secret is the reason why we do a 3-day forensic analysis of the business is I want to find out what your management style is.
Mhm.
Because once you know what your management style is, now we
Mhm.
have 85 years of research based on a management style. Now
Mhm.
we can predict what kind of decisions you're likely to make
Mhm.
in certain circumstances. Then
Mhm.
when we build a business blueprint, we build extra safeguards in that area to make sure the $400,000 mistake, and
Mhm.
that's another case study. Please ask me to talk about that. That
Mhm.
$400,000 mistake never happened.
That's right.
Okay.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's why we spend a lot of time building the business blueprint, the trust
Mhm.
foundation, the branding, and the other 33 tools. The
Mhm.
other 33 chapters in the textbook are part of the textbook and we can't ignore them. Branding, we talked a lot about branding. Branding is only one of the chapters. Okay. And it's only a chapter in the business blueprint. The business blueprint is the textbook. Branding is one of the chapters in the textbook, so we can't ignore the textbook. Okay.
Mhm.
So my suggestion to you is I believe in momentum.
Mhm.
We should get together for lunch tomorrow, or we should meet at one of your job sites or something like that, because I need to have a little more input and we
Mhm.
need to get to know each other better. We also need to look at your financials, because I can only help you use the horsepower you have under your hood.
Mhm.
But a lot of times I see horsepower that you don't even know you have.
Mhm.
Okay.
You're
So
probably
we,
going to find a lot of that with me because there's a lot of things that I don't use
okay.
just because of fear. I don't know, and like for
You've
the
used
last
that
year,
word quite a few times already. So,
I don't know, for the last year, I've been feeling very fearful, and I don't know why. Usually I'm that person who's like, let's get it done and whatever, solutions. Now it's like I'm so precautious, and I think it has a lot to do with my personal life where I'm more precautious.
okay.
So I don't know what's going on with me, but yeah.
Yeah, we need to get to the bottom of that.
Oh, I've been doing a lot of counseling, a lot of meditation, a lot of things just to
Do
cleanse.
you have a therapist, a relationship with a therapist, a professional relationship with a therapist?
I've got quite a few. I'm
Yeah.
just taking a break right now because of everything that's happening, but I haven't found someone who is like, who really speaks to me or who I
Okay.
can be. Like a lot of my therapists that I've dealt with in the past, it's like they have their opinion, they have their advice, and that's it. I need someone who's actually going to just listen to me and maybe guide me, but not like forcefully tell me to do something, because I don't react really good with force. Like if you're going to force me to do something, I'm going to step back.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't agree with it, you
Yeah.
have to have the buy-in first.
Like you have to
And
make me see why your way is better than mine.
right. Okay.
And I've gone through quite a bit of emotional trauma as well with my current partner, my ex-husband, my children. I've had quite a few of ups and downs, and I hate the fact that I don't feel like I'm in control anymore. That's why I'm letting things go. Like with my children, I'm letting it go. I just don't have the control. And I'm a person who always had control. Um, well, with my ex-husband, I'll tell you, I went from 18, I married him when I was 18. I went from 18 to 30 like that. And then when I woke up at 30, I was like, whoa, where the hell did the time go? Because I found out he was taking money off of the house and he was giving it to his family, and it was all done behind my back. And there were several mortgages that would go on the house, take out. So he was always eating the equity out in the house.
Wow.
And then I decided, you know what, I want to move on from my life. And then my current partner, who is my business partner in KS Floors, and then we've worked that business for many years, but he had a different style. And a lot of these case studies that you're telling me sounds a lot like him. So I had to remove myself from that business, remove myself from him. And then I came up with my own business.
Okay.
And that's why I revamped it.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
split from KS Floors.
Yes.
Um, so and that's so K is his initial, S is your initial.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, never do that. Don't
That
do
was his
that.
idea.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's almost impossible to sell a business. And by
Yeah.
the way, I always believe in designing a business where you get multiple offers on the business.
Mhm.
Now you have a choice. Do I sell it? Do I keep running it? But it's nice having a choice, isn't it?
It is beautiful. Yeah.
Right. But having a well-designed business that you get multiple offers on, you
Mhm.
know it's well designed because
That's
people
right.
want to pay you real money for it.
Yes.
And my goal is always to design businesses be sold within 3 to 5 years. I'm not saying you have to sell it, but
I'd like to franchise it.
okay. All right. Now you're speaking my language.
Yes. I would
We've
love to
worked
franchise it.
We've worked on 8 franchise concepts from scratch.
Perfect. That's
8
it.
different franchise concepts from scratch.
Yeah.
And by the way, franchising is the quickest way to get a capital infusion into a company.
Okay.
Okay. So you're speaking my language now. So
Good.
so what would you like to do? I have to look at my calendar, but we should get together sometime tomorrow. Do you want to get together for lunch or at one of your job sites or the job
Um,
site?
well, the job site that I'm currently in. So today I'm meeting with her now, and she hasn't paid in the last 3 months.
Oh,
So yes, and her job has been on hold. So I'm
oh,
hoping that she has a check for me today.
okay,
So let's see what happens, and then I can pick up back because right now we're just at drywall stage.
okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
she's still outstanding about 80 grand. And I need her to start picking up so we can finish this job. It was scheduled to be finished in October and we're not there yet. Or
Okay.
near, yeah.
All right. So she stopped the project because of cash flow issues.
Mhm.
Um
Well, no, she thought I was still gonna continue after the cash flow issue.
right. So but you set her straight. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
But there's no animosity
No,
between.
no.
Okay. And what kind of job is this? What are you doing for her?
This is the townhouse in Oakville that we're
Oh, that
gutting.
you're gutting. Okay. So now there's a vacant home.
Mhm.
Okay. How long has it when did you stop production?
I think it was late September or mid-September.
Okay. So she's losing rent, she's losing income
Yes.
and from a vacant home. So that
And
can't
she's
be.
living with her ex-husband, so it's not
Oh,
going well.
yeah.
So she
So she
wants it
loves
done.
that. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
So she's motivated to give you cash to get
Yes.
you going, but
Yeah.
you're not waiting for 80,000. Is it,
No.
how much do you think you'll get today if you get money?
Well, if I do get, she's supposed to give me about 47K to start it.
47.
Yeah, and then at the end, my profit is going to be at the end, really.
Okay. We got to look at your payments in progress because your profit should not be at the end. Your profit should be
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle. Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you, I can, well, when we meet, I don't even have my printer or anything, but we can go through the contract so you can see the payment plans, because what I do, I give them like a deposit structure. Like after, for her, I did, whenever a phase was done, she would pay. So, which was great. I like that. And then, but for other clients, what I want to do is just have the deposit structure with the date. And the minute that date didn't hit, then we're done, we're stopped.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that you have discipline because without that discipline, most contractors will ignore the date and keep working.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so I'm glad to hear you have that discipline. This is not your best friend. This is a business relationship. And if you owe me money at 12 noon today and
Mhm.
it's already 12:15, I'm talking to the crew and saying, what time are you going to be here? Because if you're
Correct.
not here within the next couple of hours, my guys are going home. They might finish the day, but they're not coming back tomorrow,
That's right. That's
right? So,
exactly what I am. Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that discipline has to be there. It's a business. It's
exactly.
so,
After the job, we can have lunch and we can have dinner and we can hang out and we can be girlfriends. But during the job, no.
yeah. Okay. All right. So I'll leave it with you. Send me an email, then that way I'll get a chance to look at my calendar as well.
Mhm.
Give this some thought. I will send you the recording.
Yeah.
Go over some of the stuff. So you don't have any partners right now. It's just you. You own 100% of your company.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get together sometime tomorrow. If you get a check, let's meet at a well, it's going to be, a gutted out job. There's nothing for me to see.
Mhm.
But you have blueprints of the new design. Are you moving things around? Is the kitchen staying where the kitchen was or
Yeah,
um
I just removed the wall. So basically everything is staying where it is. So I didn't really invest the money in the blueprints.
okay.
The only thing that I invested in is the HVAC mechanical system and that for permitting. So I have that layout. But as for the kitchen, there was a wall. I removed that wall and I reinforced the structure, which I wasn't supposed to do. But after I removed the wall, I felt like just go an extra. It was only going to cost me an extra $1,500, and I didn't see the reason why not. So I just did it for her, so she has a smooth, like a clean look versus, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's see if we can get together for a coffee or something tomorrow. Then we can look at your previous projects and create a strategy
Mhm.
of how we can work together.
Yes.
And it really depends on your balance. And I'll give you 3 scenarios now. Probably the best one to get you, give me an idea of what you have done in the last year in terms of revenue. Are you in the $1 million category, 2 million, 5 million
No,
category?
the last year it's only been the $200,000 job.
Okay.
And then prior to that, I was with Alair Homes. So that was a couple grand a month. So it wasn't
Okay.
much. So pretty much I'm revamping.
Okay. And how much revenue were you doing on KS Floors?
We had a good chunk of revenue. It's just because it was mismanaged between myself and my partner. A lot of times what he does, like he will take the business card and then he would go to the beer store, or he would take the business card and he would go extreme shopping at Home Depot for tools. And these are things where a lot of money went. It was hard to keep track. So I do also need to get, it's funny when you were talking about bookkeeping, that's where I want to start off right now. I need a proper bookkeeper and a proper accountant, because my accountant that I had really worked for my ex-husband. So he didn't take care of it. And then he screwed me over. I paid him to do his job and he never did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I do need to close off the other company that I have as well, because this new company, Les Elite, is where my main focus is.
Okay. All right. So in the flooring, were you doing 1 million, 2
No,
million?
no,
No,
no, it was under 500,000. It was under,
500. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So I get an idea.
Mhm.
What I would suggest, would be the interim CEO program,
Mhm.
um, but not wholeheartedly,
Mhm.
because if you had a flooring company and you were doing between 1 million and 2 million, then I would strongly suggest the interim CEO program, because I would see ambition and you want to grow with
Yeah,
this new company pretty fast.
yeah.
And because I believe that would be the quickest way to produce results.
Mhm.
Because we need to hire people, we need to hire virtual assistants, we need to create aggressive marketing system, branding, and so on. So I mean, I can put my team to work, but I need a commitment from you.
Okay.
Over the next year, I'm going to invest probably $100,000 in your company.
Mhm.
If I don't make that back,
Mhm.
right, it means that I need to work with you for the next 5 years in order to make some of that back. The
Mhm.
foundation of your company has to be in place. Either you put in the money or I'm going to put in the money.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you can't build a $5 million company, a renovation company, without a foundation, without
Okay.
branding, without
Yes.
truck wraps, without
Yes.
without an aggressive marketing system, without real employees that are doing a great job, motivated employees. You can't
That's
do that
right.
without the investment. So
Mhm.
either you put it in or I'm going to put it in, but someone has to put it in, and I'm try to recover it over the next 10, 15 years, depending on how
No,
aggressive you are. So
we got impressive.
okay. So the interim CEO program is generally between $50,000 to $100,000 a year. I can certainly do it in the 50,000 range. The other thing that I would do is what we call a business in the box. A
Mhm.
business in the box is a company that has been designed, let's say 10 years ago, and the websites have been created and aging. Now, the reason why websites is like websites or antique sites, websites are like fine wine. You can pay $2 million for an old bottle of wine. Why?
Yes.
Because it's old, right?
Mhm.
Same thing with Google. Google, even though censorship and World Economic Forum and stuff like that, it has a bad thing in terms
Mhm.
of privacy and stuff. But in terms of business, they have a great reputation. They truly want to help business owners and they
Mhm.
want to keep it fair. So, in other words, if you started your company, a bathroom renovation company, as an example, 10 years ago, and someone comes into your market that has, $1 million in marketing, wants to start in your city and wants to get your market share, they're going to make it difficult for the new company because they want to support the company that's been around for 10 years. Okay.
That's
And
right.
that's why the aging websites make sense, because it's a lot easier to take a 10-year-old website and keep updating it and get to first, second, and third position on Google. With
Mhm.
a brand new site, it's going to be a lot more difficult. They're going to have to do 10 times your work in order to get the same results you do. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's why we call it a business in the box, because it's everything is in there. The websites, the branding, the policy and procedure manual, and everything else that you need. So that's something that I would suggest that you do. And I can look at one point. Sorry, this meeting is way too long, but I think this is important.
Mhm.
Um, at one point, I really believed in real estate. As you know, I bought my first
Yeah.
house at 17.
Mhm.
And my dad was really pushing us into real estate because he really believed it. He did well in real estate. In
Mhm.
87, 88, 89, we were buying and selling 12 houses a month. So we were doing a lot of flipping of
Mhm.
houses.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Then we got into commercial flipping. And
Mhm.
we should talk about that, because that I think that there's an opportunity there for you as well.
Mhm.
So started doing a lot of flipping. Then I started thinking, okay, brick and mortar real estate requires a lot of capital, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Then I started thinking about digital real estate. Okay.
Mhm.
And I started creating websites and buying websites. Okay. And Facebook's IPO confirmed that I was going in the right direction with $1 billion valuation.
Mhm.
Okay. It was just a website, $1 billion, right?
Mhm.
IPO. So it confirmed that I was in the right, going in the right direction. And that's when we started building the businesses in the box, these aging websites. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's, buying a business in the box to do custom homes or to do custom renovations is something that will get you to $5 million, probably a couple of years faster than you can do it on your own
Yeah.
without those strategies. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the second one. So interim CEO, business in the box, and advisory level, where we
Okay.
sit with you, every day at the beginning, or every couple of days, or once a week, we sit down and talk about what's going on in your business to follow the business blueprint. The business blueprint is about $5,000 to get started.
Mhm.
And you are following the business blueprint. And whenever something you have questions, you have doubt or fears or something, we set up a call like this and we help you through the process. Or I
Mhm.
get on the job site, or you're having problems with an employee, or have problems with a client, whatever
Mhm.
that is, we work it together, we come up with solutions together. So that's called
Mhm.
an advisory package. And these advisory packages can range, from $1,500 a month to $5,000 a month, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. And I because you're just starting off, I can even do $500 a month. Okay,
Mhm.
because again, my goal is not to work with you short term. My goal is to get you to the 20 million plus, and
Correct.
I'm only going to make money from you in second, third, fourth, or fifth year. So my goal with you is to work with you long term. I
Okay.
still have the same flooring company that did the carpet on my first apartment more than 40 years ago.
Mhm.
Okay. Now he does, commercial and condo tower hallways carpets, but he's still on his hands and knees installing carpet. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't
So
want to be that.
right. So those are three different areas. There are other areas where we do the marketing for you. There's a done for you program, as well as an advisory type program for you, because you're going to have to do some marketing in order to get some of these clients. Also, the stepping stone relationships. Anyways, this is a lot of information. We can get into more detail when we actually sit down. But start thinking about in which way do you think I can help you the most? If it's an advisory program or a CEO program or a business in the box, start thinking about that. We can talk more about that tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks,
Okay.
Shoma. We'll talk again tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll email you later and I'll let you know availability. I think I did send you my availability for tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah. Okay, let me
So-
look at my schedule. We'll put something on the calendar for tomorrow. Have a
Okay,
great day.
awesome. You too.
Take care.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.